Hi everyone, Velvet here, and I have some stories for you today. But before we get started, can you please do me a huge favor and like, comment, and subscribe? It'll really help the channel out, and it'll get you more videos like this every day. Let's get started. And our first one comes from MuchFee1729. Am I the beehole for stopping my brother and sister-in-law from coming into my house for a while? My husband, 30-year-old male, and I, 30-year-old female, have custody of my 15-year-old nephew, Theo. He came to live with us last year after my brother asked me if he could stay with us for some time. We agreed, but under one condition, that we get to be his legal guardians. We did not want to have my brother jerk us around if he couldn't dictate to my nephew living with us, even for a few months. But this has been almost a year now. My brother agreed, so we became legal guardians of my nephew. It was decided it would be for as long as was needed. My nephew was in therapy, and still is. My brother and sister-in-law are supposedly in therapy, but I have my doubts. Background: when Theo was 7 and my brother and late sister-in-law were expecting a baby girl, Theo asked if his baby sister could be named Summer. His favorite teacher was Mrs. Summer, and brother and late sister-in-law agreed. Unfortunately, my late sister-in-law lost baby Summer and her own life due to complications. It was the worst time for the family, and my brother was lost, and in that he didn't seek any help for himself or Theo. 2 years later, he slept with my now sister-in-law and got her pregnant. And so they decided to get married. They named their daughter Summer. My brother and sister-in-law said they did it to connect Summer to her late sister and to Theo, but Theo hated that they used the name. My brother and sister-in-law ignored it and told Summer Theo named her. Almost a year ago, Summer was talking about how her brother chose her special name for her, because that's all she heard. And Theo became angry and told her he did not name her. He named his real sister, and that he never cared about naming her, and he hated that she stole Summer's name. And she wasn't his sister, and he wasn't her brother, and apparently it became very close to breaking down. Theo released a lot of rage and pain, and he refused to interact with any of them, which angered my brother, and that's what led to him asking us to take Theo. Wow, he sucks. Not Theo, the brother, he just kind of gave up. With almost a year of therapy behind him, Theo has improved a lot. Most of his anger is gone, but some still remains, and he still grieves strongly for his mom and little sister. One thing that has become clear is that Theo does not love his half-sister Summer. He does not want her to be his sister. He wishes she was never born. My husband and I, as well as my brother, have been involved in therapy at different times. And after my brother heard this during one of the sessions, he went and told sister-in-law, and they started coming to my house more to scold Theo. Oh my god, pricks. I spoke with the therapist, and she agreed they need to be away for a period of time, at least until they could refrain from speaking to Theo in that way. My brother and sister-in-law are angry about the rule of them not coming over. They say I'm working against the family, and Summer is the one who'll be hurt the most by all of this. I had to tell them that I was standing firm, but my parents think I should work out an alternative situation with the therapist too. Am I the beehole? Hi, OP. No, you are not the beehole. Your brother and sister-in-law are definitely the beehole, especially your brother. Why did he think would happen naming, the child after the child that is not with us anymore? I would feel weird about that too, personally, if I gave a name. I wouldn't want another, the next kid to have that name. It'd make me feel weird. It's gonna bring back memories of my mother and my, sister that I lost tragically. Of course I don't want to be reminded of that every time I see this person. So of course it's going to be hard for him to see her as a sister, because he's going to see her as the one that usurped his real sister. I completely blame your brother and sister-in-law on this. They should have known better to name their child Summer. They shouldn't have done that. And then they neglect and overlook poor Theo, seeing all the stuff he's going through, and they're acting like he's in the wrong. They're clearly in the wrong for this one. Poor Theo, man. He has to go to therapy and all this, and you guys take him, which, holy crap, his parents gave up on him. That's so sad, because I see that as giving up, and I think a lot of that's because they kept forcing her on him. You don't. All they had to do was pick a different name. But so they give you guys what is it, power of attorney, whatever. You guys have parentingship over him, and you're doing the right thing, getting the kid therapy so he can work out his rage and his loss and all that and his pain. And then these idiots who overheard it, they're not supposed to do that, but whatever. These idiots show up and start berating the kid. Of course, what do you think's gonna happen? You think he's gonna be like, "Oh, thank you, parents who I despise right now. You're over here crapping on me. I'm gonna like you now." OP, you're not the beehole. This why do the grandparents always suggest stupid things in these stories? Do not listen to the grandparents. I would say listen to the therapist. Theo needs to get over this and work all this out before he can even maybe even establish a relationship with them. Personally, I wouldn't, especially the way they're handling things. It sounds like they chose the daughter over poor Theo. So yeah, not the beehole. And our next one comes from OK Lavishness 3277. Am I the beehole for asking my mother to leave because she wouldn't stop wasting my food? My baby sister just had a baby, and our mom came to help. My sister and her husband live in a tiny apartment with no room for my mom. I agreed to let her stay with me since I only live 8 blocks away, and it's walkable. My plan was to Uber her over in the morning and pick her up after work. I only eat one meal a day during the week. Hey, me too. Supper. I have coffee for breakfast and some fruit for lunch. On Saturday, I treat myself to a good breakfast, and on Sundays, I take the woman I'm dating for brunch. My mother decided this was unacceptable. She got up early and went through my fridge and freezer to make me breakfast. I told her that I appreciate it, but I do not usually eat breakfast. She said that was stupid. I very clearly communicated to her that she was welcome to eat anything in my home, but please do not make me breakfast, as it is a waste. She made breakfast the following day, and I walked out without eating it. I figured worst case scenario is I could eat it for supper. She threw it out since I didn't eat it. I told her once more to please not waste my food. She made breakfast for me the next day. I asked if she was developing dementia. She was wasting my food for no good reason. I'm not poor or anything, but wasting food is a pet peeve of mine. She said I was being ungrateful for her help, and she was doing it to be nice since I was letting her stay with me. I explained to her again that I did not need, want, or require or desire breakfast during the week. She said she understood. She made me breakfast the next day. I had enough. I took her luggage with me when I dropped her off at my sister's home. I told my doorman that my guests would no longer be welcomed. I got so many messages from her and my sister all day long. Even my dad called me to ask to change my mind. I said no. He had to drive up and rent an Airbnb close to my sister because my mom was too scared to stay by herself. He's retired, so he didn't miss work or anything. My sister came over alone to talk to me. She said I was being a complete arse, and that I could afford the food. Oh my god, that's not the point. And my mom was wasting. I said I could, but I didn't want to. She literally used up 2 months worth of my food. She made up huge breakfast that I did not even eat. I kept all my bacon and individual servings. She thought out 3 for every breakfast, 1 for her and 2 for me, and I ate 0. My father has asked me to let her back in. I said I would under the condition that she understands that my food is completely off limits to her. She can pay for her own food. I said I'd make room in the fridge and freezer for her. She said I was being ridiculous and petty. So my dad is staying neutral, but my mom and sister think I'm being a JA. My girlfriend thinks the whole thing is hilarious. Bans to refuse to get involved. Hi, OP. I'm gonna say you're not the beehole. Personally, I hate having my food wasted too, and you're doing a favor to her for letting her stay with you, you know what I mean? No matter who it is, it's imposing to have someone stay with you for a period of time. And of course, your sister is getting mad at you because she's losing her free help, or her free help is, having is probably, complaining to her every time she's over there. And your mom needs to get over it, man. Like, you were being very generous. You said she can help herself to any of your food before, she went overboard. And just don't waste it on you because you don't eat. You only eat one meal during the week, which I do too. But extend that to weekends too. I just can't bring myself to eat breakfast. It's not appealing to me when I wake up. But yeah, OP, not the beehole. Your mom is definitely the she's a beehole because you've told her multiple times not to do this, and she still does this. And on top of that, like you said, maybe you could come home and eat it for supper. Like, I've done that before. Breakfast for dinner is fun sometimes. But she wastes it and throws it away. And yeah, that would get under my skin too, especially since I was raised not to waste my food. And after even all of that, you still said she'd, be allowed to come back in as long as she brings her own food, and you'd even make space for her. I think that's fair. OP, you're not the beehole. If she doesn't want to agree to those terms, then don't let her back in, because you don't need that stress and that waste in your life. Our final one comes from B2UTYYO. Am I the beehole for not wanting to share a hotel room with my boyfriend's mother? So my boyfriend's sister is getting married in Pennsylvania mountains, and the location is super expensive, to the point that she's not even having a hotel block, but these overpriced Airbnbs that none of the family can afford. So my boyfriend and I already decided we're going to get a hotel room near the venue instead, but now his mother wants to share with us. Both my boyfriend and I are completely against his mother staying with us for 3 reasons that we are in agreement are valid reasons. Reason 1. His mom absolutely hates me for no reason. The 2 years we've been together, she's been completely awful, to the point that in the past year, his mom and I have been actively avoiding each other. She does not even want me to attend the wedding, but his sister invited me. It'd be incredibly uncomfortable to share the hotel room with her. Reason 1's enough for me, and I agree with you, but let's get on to reason 2. Reason 2. His mom and his 2 sisters are complete drama. So we want the hotel room to ourselves to have a place to hide from any of the fallout that happens at the rehearsal or the wedding. If his mom is with us, we are sure we're about to hear all the drama all night from her. Plus we know she'll be a wreck in the morning of the wedding too. So there's that, and we'd love to avoid that. Reason 3. I have ADHD, and with that, I have many problems sleeping, especially when it comes to insomnia, vivid nightmares, and light sleep paralysis. I literally twitch like crazy when I do sleep. My boyfriend is used to this by now, but I'm sure his mother would throw a fit if I was keeping her up late by being on the phone or waking up in the middle of the night upset from a bad nightmare. Like I said, we both feel like these are valid reasons to not let his mother share a hotel with us, but are we the beeholes because of this? Hi, OP. No, you are not the beehole. Even if you and the mother got along like best friends, it'd still be awkward, you know what I mean? Having his mother in the same room with you when you're a couple and you're trying to sleep. And I'm not even saying you guys are trying to clash or anything like that. I'm just saying trying to sleep in the same bed. That's going to be awkward. Where's she going to be? Like a third little bed, a cot somewhere? I don't know, because I doubt you or the boyfriend. I guess you and the mother in the bed, but you guys hate each other. Well, she hates you for some reason. Yeah, reason 1 is enough for me to say no, so I would suggest that you and your boyfriend tell her no. No matter, plus, I hate that crap too. I have family members like that where I would not want to be trapped in a room with them because they love drama and they're not gonna shut up and just like have some peace and quiet. So I completely get wanting to avoid that too. So OP, not the beehole. Do not let her stay in the room with you. You guys are gonna have a miserable time if you let that go through. Stick to your guns. OP, not the beehole. Thank you so much for staying with me to the end of this video. Can you please do what I said in the beginning and like, comment, and subscribe? It will really help the channel out, and it'll get you more videos like this every day. Velvet out.